Sports.
It felt so nice, we figured we would do it twice today. The Pete Sousa Show, we are underway. This is a draft show, folks, the NBA draft from the Argyle Open in Northlake. So if you're in the area, you're cruising around DFW, you want a spot to come have dinner, you want to watch the draft, I want you to come out to Argyle Open. This is the spot. I'm looking around right now, wall-to-wall televisions. There's a bunch of people here, still people coming in right now. You have 4 golf simulators. Actually, tonight you have 3 because our broadcast position is taking up one of those golf simulator spots, but they've got an amazing scratch kitchen. They've got the draft on here. They've got the World Cup on here, and they got great vibes. This is in the heart of Northlake. I have actually become familiar with this area because I have a son now, my newly minted stepson, Caden, as more people just kind of roll in for dinner. But Caden's part of the clay shooting team for Marcus High School, and they do a lot of events, the clay shooting events right up the road here from Argyle Open. So I've gotten familiar with it, and really this is just an amazing area. It's called the Northlake Commons, and if you're in the hood, our hood tonight, make sure you come and check us out. The NBA draft, of course, is getting ready to start. Tips off at 7 o'clock Central Time, and with the number 1 pick, you guessed it, the Washington Wizards are on the clock or will be soon. Now, a lot of people feel like with this number 1 pick that the Wizards are going to be set to take A.J. DiBonsa. There's also a possibility that there could be a trade that gets made because A.J. DiBonsa, of course, not only did he play high school ball at Utah Prep, but he went to BYU. And there has been a comfort level throughout this entire process that A.J. DiBonsa and his family share with the state of Utah. They're from Brockton, Massachusetts, but a lot of time out in Utah and a lot of love. And I think that there's a possibility that we could see some kind of trade. I don't know that, if the Wizards were to take someone other than A.J. DiBonsa, that it would be Darren Peterson. There's a lot of talk right now about maybe you have A.J. DiBonsa go number 1 and maybe Cam Boozer goes number 2. My man Zach Burke holding the fort down, producing for us tonight back in Central Texas. He and I had a chat today about that, about Carlos Boozer being in the front office for the Utah Jazz. That's like a known entity there, right? We've heard that. People have talked about the fact that Carlos Boozer works for the Jazz, but I think it's also one of those points that have been made and then almost forgotten. That could contribute quite possibly to Cam Boozer being taken towards the top of the draft, maybe with that 2nd pick. And then you have something very interesting going on because after that, at 3, and let me get my draft order up here. You got the Grizzlies, but let me get the whole deal. By the way, NBA, great job. I got this printed off the NBA's website. I used to work in the NBA, and I got to give all those guys a lot of credit. This is an NBA draft guide that I literally just printed off my computer. I got it from being on Media Central, NBA Media Central, which is not like breaking into Fort Knox. If you cover the sport, you can get an opportunity there. So NBA Media Central is awesome. I used to use it a lot when I was working in NBA PR, and I'm using it tonight. So look, here is the big thing that I wanted to chat about and where things could get dicey. With the 3rd pick in the draft, it's the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, we've heard a lot about there's certain things about this draft that are unstable, and atop, you probably say that could be Darren Peterson, right? There's also certain things around Memphis that aren't necessarily stable. A lot of players have poo-pooed the Memphis Grizzlies accommodations for when you're playing the Grizz on the road. I can speak from firsthand experience. I have never played the Grizzlies on the road, but I have called basketball games at the arena across the street, FedEx Forum, just as recently as, I guess, last February. I called a Memphis UAB game. And yeah, you do stay right across the street at the Westin, which is, it's a fine hotel. All right, let's all get over ourselves. And you've got amazing food, barbecue, music in downtown Memphis. It gets a bad rap. Memphis is gritty. I don't know why a guy like Darren Peterson wouldn't want to play there. I think that would actually be an amazing opportunity for someone like Darren Peterson to alleviate some of the stresses around, is this guy does he mean business, right? If he were to refuse to go play in Memphis, which I'm not saying is going to happen, but if he were to fall to 3, you really don't know what could happen. But if he were to say, hey, I'm not playing there, things could get really interesting. After Memphis, then you have Chicago. A lot of talk about that 4th pick, right? Who are we going to have there? Keaton Wagner is a guy who folks have talked about a lot. I will be very interested to see where Cameron Carr goes. This is a Baylor product who has shot up draft boards like an absolute comet. I mentioned it today on my show. I got a call from a buddy of mine, and I'll say this now. I get a call from if people who know people. How can I put this the right way? If there's a mutual relationship between myself and a guy who works for an NBA team, sometimes that person in the middle will put you in touch with the NBA team, or the NBA team in touch with you, because a certain NBA team will want to talk to a guy like me who literally has called a lot of college basketball games. Now, like, am I John Wooden? Am I going to pick these players apart like Jerry West in the front office of the Lakers, the Grizzlies, or the Clippers? No. But I do see how these dudes carry themselves, and some of that information, I would never divulge anything like private or anything we are able to see at a shoot-around or something like that. When something's off the record. But I can talk to folks about body language. I can talk to folks about what I saw work habit-wise, how they treat their teammates. And a guy who I was called about by a few NBA organizations this year was Cameron Carr. People knew that I got to fill in on Baylor radio for John Morris when John would get moved over to the TV side. John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears. So I was able to cut my teeth early on in the season calling non-conference, basically almost preseason Baylor basketball games on the radio. Got to see a lot of Cam Carr that way. And then the conference tournament, or excuse me, the actual schedule starts to crank up, and I had an opportunity to call 3 more Baylor games. And I saw in Cam Carr what a lot of people are seeing now. And what that is lonely work, effort, the ability to rapidly increase your value on the floor. And it's not just with hard work, it's with normal maturation. And we'll see this a lot with guys that get drafted tonight, and we will hear it a lot. These are players who they get so much better over the course of not just a season in college, but also a year in the pros or a training camp in the pros. And that is something that when you look at these guys, you talk to scouts, you talk to people around the NBA draft, they will tell you, okay? And this is why a guy like Darren Peterson is so special, because the bounce and athleticism, and really just, you can say that you can teach shooting, but when you watch Darren Peterson shoot the basketball, there's just something very special about him, about the way he releases the ball, about the way his jump shot is just so pure. And that is stuff you can't teach. You can't teach the bounce that he has. So a lot of times teams will take a player, maybe that they aren't quite sure about fundamentally, and they know, okay, that can come. We can teach him some of those skills, right? But athletically, this is a guy who just jumps off the page at you. Let's go back to Cam Carr. A couple things about Carr that I think you can talk about that make him such an interesting prospect. And again, Miami was thinking about taking Cam Carr maybe even as high as 13. Now, they no longer have that pick, having traded it to Milwaukee in the Giannis Antetokounmpo deal. But if you look at Cam Carr, he set a single-season sophomore scoring record, had 642 points for Baylor this year. That's 5th in program history. Shooting the ball from 3, that is something that is so concerning to guys who are scouting these dudes for the NBA draft, right? Can you shoot the 3? 3 and D, you hear about that. He was 38% shooting the 3 at Baylor, made 77 of 206. Remember, this is in the Big 12, the best conference in college basketball. And I think that that's something to accent and to punctuate tonight when you talk about the Big 12 and what comes with that. Well, I'll tell you who comes with that. Darren Peterson, A.J. DeBonsa. We're talking about Cam Carr. We'll be talking about Chris Sinnett. Like, these are guys who are going to be taken high in the NBA draft who all played in the Big 12. So that's why I think that their stats and the numbers from some of these players coming out of the Big 12 is going to be extremely important to keep an eye on, and there's a lot of validity to that. The Pete Sousa Show coming to you tonight. I cannot wait. The NBA draft. It is 6:15. Hey, Zach, let me know when Mosley hops on. I can't see everything here. Matt Mosley. He's here. He's here. Okay. Let's bring Matt up. He's joining us now from the friendly confines of his home in the DFW. Once again, God, the guy gets better looking by the day. He really does. Hey, Mose, did you hear me talking about Cameron Carr?
Yeah, I've been listening and enjoying all the coverage there. And, you know, I love the Argyle. Very nice place. And
I got a cheese curd for you with your name on it, pal. Right here.
Man, you and I had something out there. One of those appetizers.
Cheese curds, dude.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I remember those being really good. And but I'm really appreciative that you've invited me on. And yeah, I think this is Baylor's been on a great run as far as these first rounders go, and there's my main concerns tonight are number 9, what do the Dallas Mavericks do? And then when does Cameron Carr go? Because I think he's a very interesting, volatile in terms of where he's valued. Like, I think some people have him going as late as 18 to 20. I think he could be a lottery pick, which just a reminder is for our folks, I guess, is through 14, right? But yeah. Some people have him going to Chicago at 15. So I love watching him, and I think there are some things he's certainly got to improve. And one is he's pretty slight. That frame right now is not totally what it needs to be, but he could get there. And from an athleticism standpoint, and sometimes, Pete, you show up and you were with the NBA and so you know that world. Like, it's pretty amazing, even though it's a scrimmage and you don't want to make too much of it. When you get those dudes and they get together and all that's on the line and everybody's scouting and watching, and then one of the guys just goes off and just kind of destroys everybody, and that's what Cam Carr did. So, I'll always regret that he and Tunde just didn't have a better supporting cast, so that Baylor team never ended up getting close to maybe what it could have been. But I am really glad that Cam Carr, became who he is. And he got so good that at one point we thought he might come back. And
it's cool to see him. He got so much better from his time in Tennessee, right? Coaching under Rick Barnes, which, by the way, he left under very good circumstances there, wanted an opportunity to play more. It comes to Baylor. He's grown as a player, as a person, and we saw him phenomenal this year, consistent, and we saw him get better throughout the year. His shooting got better. He's a wing who can score and play D. My question for you, I want to read you this Scott Drew quote, and I want to get your reaction. He says, when it's cooking, this is about Cam Carr. When it's cooking, it's fun to watch. He's very skilled, as athletic as any player that we've had here. Now, that is high praise when you think about some of the guys who have come before him, Baylor guys, who have ended up in the NBA draft and have been taken in the top 5, top 10. What are your thoughts on his athletic ability and sort of where it's ranked among some of those Baylor first-round picks that have come before him?
Well, one just happened last year, and Edgecombe, VJ Edgecombe has, just elite athleticism. And I'll tell you what, the Messi, Eve Messi, yeah. I've been watching too much soccer. Certainly, for a big man, had tremendous athleticism, and obviously he's still young in his NBA career. But Scott's right, like, in terms of just leaping, an explosion, he might have a little more than VJ. Now, he's not as physically developed as VJ, and quite honestly, I don't think he'll ever be the defender that VJ is on his way to becoming. But now he does some things that are hard to coach. From an athleticism standpoint, Pete, he's a really good shot blocker. He's got very good timing, and so and he's good at getting in the passing lane. So there are some things that he does well. Now, if we're going back to great Baylor athletes, a guy that spent years with the Harlem Globetrotters is a guy that played at I think Kingwood in the Houston area, Andre Branch, and he was a great three-point shooter as well. But his athleticism was just beyond belief. And Baylor has had so many of those guys. You know, they had a guy named Perry. I think it's Perry. He got drafted. He just didn't really pan out. OKC took him, I think, in the first round.
Okay.
Perry Jones back in the day.
Jones, yeah.
And Perry had like ridiculous athleticism. But, you know, even with Perry, and I think Perry actually came back and maybe played his sophomore year with Baylor. But, you know, you're in the draft. It's getting a little better about this now because guys are coming back with all the NIL money. Used to be, Pete, as you well know, if you didn't come out after your freshman year, people are almost wondering what the problem was.
What's wrong with you? Yeah, what's wrong with you? And now let me bring this up to you. Now we're in a world where, and Villanova or the Nova Knicks, right? They just win a national championship, or excuse me, an NBA championship after winning, you know, 2 national championships under Jay Wright. And this takes me back actually to the Dallas Mavericks. We got kids here. This is wild, Matt. It's quite the scene. We miss you here at Argyle. But
get that kid under control.
But seriously, but when you look at Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, you know, those guys were outstanding in the NBA this year, and they all developed over 4 years playing for Jay Wright. And the developmental option or route to go in college basketball now, it's limited. We don't see it as often as we used to when you and I were growing up. But there's nothing wrong with that. And this brings me back to a point now that relates to you. The Dallas Mavericks just hire a college coach, Dusty May. And I think one of the brilliant pieces of the Dusty May hire is sort of looking at the job that Jay Wright did with that Villanova team. Now, obviously, Jay Wright is not the coach of the Knicks, but he brought young men into the NBA or helped them get there, guys who played unselfish basketball, guys who played winning basketball. Dusty May is the same type of guy. So at 9 with the Mavericks, here's a question I have for you, okay? Is there a chance that we could see Jax Lendeborg kind of shoot up the draft board a little bit? And he's a known entity for Michigan and a guy who developed a ton 2 years under Andy Kennedy at UAB. Obviously a phenomenal year last year at Michigan. And Andy Kennedy would tell you, he told myself this past year when I was calling games, and Paul Biancardi and I from ESPN talked about this morning. He got so much better, like as a person, as a man. He got more confident. His skill set grew. So talk to me a little bit about that, like about the possibility of Dusty May, one, coming to this NBA stage in Dallas and sort of using that college approach in a way, like, I know this guy Jax, he developed under me. I'm going to help him develop. We've got Cooper Flagg, another young guy who puts winning above everything else, which, hey, man, when you look at some of the dudes we're talking about getting taken in the top 5, there are questions around that. What are your thoughts on the Dusty May hire and as it relates to kind of a copycat NBA opportunity here like we just saw with the Knicks?
I love the hire. It's a big swing. It's exciting. You made me think, honestly, about Jimmy Johnson. And, you know, when he first got in the league with the Cowboys, you know, he was just more comfortable with Russell Maryland and just like players he knew, even Steve Walsh in the supplemental draft, which at least they had a supplemental draft for Steve Walsh, huh? They just Brendan Sorsby. They're like, sorry, buddy. We didn't bring any supporting materials. I think he and Kessler are saying right now, we didn't know. Nobody told us we needed a bunch of supporting.
If that's anybody but that attorney Kessler, by the way, you know he's getting the riot act read to him. Like, what the hell, dude? You just sent over a cover letter? Like, can we get some of that supporting detail?
They are saying the league didn't say anything about any of that. And now the league's kind of using that against Sorsby. But back to your point, I find it fascinating that these three Michigan players you were just talking about, Merez Johnson and Adai Mara is the other guy to go with Yax Lindeborg. Like they're being mocked at like 10, 11, and 12, or like it's kind of amazing, or 11, 12, and 13. So most of them are being mocked right after the Mavs. Here's what I have to wonder. I think Dusty's going to come in, and I think he'll give them any information they want. Here's what I don't think he wants to do is to come in and like sort of big body in his first move, all the hard work done by the scouts and Masai Ujiri. I mean, I think
that's a very thoughtful take. I have to agree with you there. That would take some major cojones to walk into the draft room and say, we're taking my guy. Here's why.
Yeah. Now, if the Mavericks and Ujiri is like, Dusty, this is what we think, and we're between these two things. Well, he might come in and go, well, here's what I can tell you about, Yaxel Lindenberg. I promise you, here's what I think Dusty's going to be good at doing. It's even in the portal world, it's a little bit easier not to get crazy attached to these players. And while I'm sure he loves them and they just won him a national title, think about it. Merez came over from Illinois after a year. Yaxel just came from where you were talking about.
UAB.
He came from UAB. And Adai came over from what?
Where was that? I can look it up here.
SEC. Anyway, Adai comes over after another year with. So Merez was Illinois. Where was Adai? Auburn? No, I'm just trying to think where Adai was.
Yeah.
Anyway, bottom line is, it's not like he's had years to get attached to these guys. He knows they were great for him in this season. And so I think, for instance, I have to believe that Burries is someone that they really have a great interest in. And Burries has made it very clear, and these agents, as you well know, run a lot of this. Burries has kind of made it clear some of those teams in front of the Mavs, he does not want to play for them. And I do believe that the Mavs love Braden Burries. So I think if there's a way to orchestrate getting him to 9, I would think they would lean that direction. But
let me ask you this, and you bring up a great point. When you look at guys, and I think this could happen with Darren Peterson tonight, if somehow he were to fall to 3 with Memphis, and we saw it last year a little bit with the Rutgers guy Ace Bailey, but he eventually did go to Utah, and it's all kumbaya now. You mentioned Braden Burries saying, "I'm not going to play for Dallas." Over the course, or I'm not going to play for teams ahead of Dallas, and ahead of the Mavs. You have teams like Brooklyn, Sacramento, Atlanta, the Clippers, right? But what do you think about players when they say that, when they make those demands or their agents make those demands? How do front offices respond to that?
We were talking about it. They did it. Ace Bailey did it just last year's draft and didn't want to go to Utah. And I think if you got a strong enough GM who feels convicted about the player, you got somebody like Ainge in control, like as a president of basketball or whatever. By the way, Adai played at UCLA. But it's been driving me nuts. But I think you have to go ahead and take them. It's now they a lot of times can steer a guy away from a place, but Utah's been down that road and they understand, hey, they may act like they hate us or whatever, and they don't want to come to there. Now, that said, there's a guy like DeBonsa that's he's been there. He seemed to enjoy it. And I don't think he would have any problem at all I find the DeBonsa thing fascinating. Well, he and Darren Peterson both, but way different guys. Like DeBonsa loved his college experience, was a great teammate, never wanted to sit out, played tons of minutes. And then when one of his really good players, who was at Richie
Saunders
got hurt, he had to basically carry the whole team because Rob was shrinking, as he tends to do. And DeBonsa was awesome. Now, what's weird about DeBonsa in that whole scene is he doesn't have an agent, and his dad basically kind of helps him run things. Now, most of the times I would say that's like a horrible decision, but I don't know, somebody helped him get $7 million from BYU, so it's not like somebody's completely screwing it up, right?
No, I think his dad is a special guy. I've gotten to know him a little bit, calling a game out at BYU, and then I've had him on the show, and he's a hard ass in the best sense of the word. And I think he's gotten the best out of his kid, and there's a lot of humility there. I mean, when it comes down to it, and you would know this better than me, just being around contracts and stuff, like, I don't know what's a couple $100,000 or $1 million. You know what I mean? I don't know that he would make that amazing, like, Master P mistake with the Ricky Williams deal. Remember, everything was like all incentive based. I think it was Master P, who represented Ricky Williams, which was like a disaster. And I think we're beyond that. So I agree with you. I don't think that matters too much. When you look at those guys from the Big 12, with Peterson in particular, what is your biggest concern about him? And I'll tell you mine first. One, I really do worry, Matt, about I've never seen a guy, and you can stop me if you have. I've never seen a guy or remember a guy who has gone through a college season, and it's not like he didn't have amazing moments. He did. And it's not like he didn't play his ass off in certain moments. He did. But at the same time, it felt like he was kind of just running out the clock, right? Like, let me get my 6 months in so I can get to the NBA. I saw Ben Simmons do that, and we saw how that resulted. Like, do you believe that sort of the attitude we saw from him this year, because I don't think it was like any serious hardcore injury. I think a lot of it was mental. How concerning is that for you, and how concerning do you think it is for NBA organizations?
Well, I think it's a huge concern, and I think at some point, finally, I think it was Myron Metcalf or somebody like that from ESPN. Finally, he kind of tried to tell his story.
It was Ramona Shelburne, the creatine deal.
Okay, but he also, at one point he talked to Myron, but Ramona. Bottom line is I know what you're saying. Yeah, I was talking about like before that, but him talking later on
too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Later on, you're talking about how he ended up with all those problems. I get that, but if I'm picking it number one or number two, he scares me to death. But the problem is they believe his ceiling and where he could go is like an SGA type, like his body type and just everything he brings from just a physical standpoint. But to your point, we can say like, oh, he's physically impressive and he can shoot and he can do all these wonderful things. But also physically, he managed to miss a ton of games. And Self kind of hung in there with him as much as he could, but even Bill Self finally started to get tired of it and get sick of it. I bring this up in the context with I had the privilege of having a Pete Sousa-like seat on the BYU Baylor game where both Tunde and DeBonsa went crazy. And I think Tunde had 38 and DeBonsa might have had 37 in that game. And so I get to be down there on the baseline and I'm just watching DeBonsa, and it was hey, that night Tunde was just like this. He was awesome. But DeBonsa, it was like he was playing with little kids. It was like the AAU bunch had shown up and then a grown man, it was like Anthony Edwards or somebody had walked into the gym like in that movie, where Anthony Edwards just wearing that poor guy out in that movie with
That
Adam
was the
Sandler.
Adam Sandler movie. Yeah.
And that's how I felt about Dubonsa. And he's a freshman, and usually you're like, well, those guys need to have time and they need to fill out and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, whoa, this is a fully formed adult. So from just a safe pick kind of thing, it's like he's like one of the safest picks I've seen in years, because even with Wemby, we're trying to go, okay, yeah, he seems incredible. Okay, now wait, who's he been playing against? And what is this? Like, we're not 7'4", 7'5". Like, what are we looking at here? Like, it really, they call him the alien or whatever, but that's kind of what it felt like. With Dubonsa, we know what this is. This is an American flat out badass.
Yeah.
That
From
can
Brockton, Massachusetts, the home of Marvin Hagler.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
And Rocky
Hagler.
Marciano, also from Brockton.
That's crazy.
How about this? One more for you. Maybe a couple more, but I won't keep you for too much longer. When you look at the top of the draft and you think about how excited we are about all these marquee guys that could be coming into the NBA, but we had a marquee guy change teams last night, and it was Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think it's a brilliant move. I think Pat Riley really flexing muscle. His ability to get stars to play for him, I think, is almost second to none when you think about some of those big-time names, whether it's Shaq, LeBron. I mean, he already had Dwayne Wade, but Chris Bosh, and now to somehow get Giannis. What do you think that means for the NBA? Like Giannis being in Miami, is that a seismic shift? Like, is Miami now going to be going toe-to-toe with New York next year in the Eastern Conference Finals? And we're talking about the great restoration of this rivalry. Where does that Giannis move fall to you? Because he's only 31 years old, Matt. And I was saying this morning, Michael Jordan retired at 34 the first time, or the second time. So he's still got plenty of gas left in the tank, I would believe Giannis does.
Although he's been missing games, he's not Anthony Davis, but some of the injury stuff would concern me just a little bit. He's still incredible. He's not going to wake up suddenly and become a shooter. That's not what he is. He's a tremendous defender. He is he is a guy that can. I mean, basically throughout a lot of his career, and even when he won the title, I mean, they were just playing through him all the time. He may have not been the actual point guard, but in some ways he was. In some ways, he was just running that team. So I'm anxious to see what Spoelstra can do with he and Bam, and we got a Baylor guy on that team. Now, they're going to owe Norm Powell. I think he's going to be due like a huge payday, and we'll see if they want to do that. They did send a lot of pretty good players. Now they didn't really have to, and I'm saying, they sent some guys out to Milwaukee. Hero being the best player. Ware is a good golly, man. That guy's got some ability. But bottom line is, I do think it makes them infinitely more exciting and interesting. But I have a hard time thinking it just immediately makes them like a finals contender. I would still put, and of course that's going to be awkward with Boston now, and they got to once again go back and either soothe his ego or try to trade him or whatever with Jaylen Brown.
And I think they're going to try to trade him regardless. I think now they kind of have to move him.
He may force them to. I mean, it's a highly intelligent guy that is, like some kind of professor, and he's basically always ready to teach us some things. And they keep like making him mad. They keep trying to trade him. So, but I would still have like Boston, New York, and I would even have the Cavs slightly ahead of the Heat right now. And then you got to remember that the Pacers may come rolling back if Halliburton can get back to being Halliburton. So, and by the way, Kevin, who's on with me, He's just everything is about the Pacers. He's like, oh, we're not worried about him. We have his number. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
I want to go back and look at all the times that the Pacers have apparently shut him down. Apparently, he's never even scored on the Pacers.
Hey, let me ask you one more, and I got to ask you this. It's a football question, and I want to drill down. Why did, and we can't take too long with this, but why did Brendan Sorsby, why is there no supplemental draft? I know you've talked to people. I know you've heard things. What the hell happened there? Why is this not happening? And if, second part of the question, which is the worst way to ask a question, but whatever, what happens now? Can there be an appeal? But take me through why the hell this happened.
I don't. He's acting like they could get the NFLPA involved. Well, this guy's not even a member. It's like he's kind of on the wrong side of this to really get the NFLPA fired up. I mean, I think much like what he did in that courthouse in Lubbock, Kessler's about to throw the kitchen sink at him.
Yeah.
And try a lot of different things, but the kid, I mean, I think what happened is the NFL has been trying to kind of help the NCAA, and they've been even trying to help in this mess that they're trying to get through Congress, the Senate bill.
Yeah.
And I think in a sense is the NCAA was horrified at what this guy had done, and the NFL has said, you know what? We're not going to do anything special for a guy who has these problems. But I think the weak part of it is they blamed it on him not bringing in enough supporting materials. And the way Kessler tells it, they had no clue. They gave him one sheet thing and they told him to fill it out and get it in by this deadline. And the guy spent a couple of hours. He sent it in. And now they're saying, well, the only reason he did that is because they abandoned him. He couldn't do the college thing anymore. Well, no S. That's the reason most guys go into the supplemental. And by the way,
what about some of these names, like even like Jalen Carter last year or 2 years ago, Joe Mixon, Tyreek Hill, who didn't get drafted, but he ended up playing in the league. I mean, all these guys with like some of them unspeakable issues legally, and they're, hey, welcome aboard. Well, come right this way. But a guy who, and I think the gambling thing is going to bite everybody in the ass. I think it's way bigger than we think. This is not isolated with Brendan Sorsby. What he did was wrong, big time wrong. But I think that it's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
college kids are doing this out of control.
The last thing, did you hear the part of what they said was we don't think we have time. We didn't have time to vet him. And I'm like, wait, we've already done this investigation, and that's what I tweeted. I'm like, they're treating this guy like Al Capone. We just don't think we have time to vet this.
Yeah.
To vet this guy. I mean, that's pretty public record. What he was betting on, we've been talking about that for months now.
Yeah.
Like what are they trying to vet? I mean, it's kind of there. Either you go, we think this guy can be helped, but I don't know. I think there are probably some teams that are sad about this because there are some teams desperate for quarterback play.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Rogue Media Network and 365 Sports, they're desperate to get you and I together again soon because I've been talking to Stephanie over here, and you'd better get involved, pal, because she's ready to sign us up for, like, Cowboys games, like pregame shows and stuff. I said, look, you got to run that by – I said, I got college football, and Mosley is the Cowboys guy. So you got to run that by my man Mosley. I said, look, if I'm home, I'll do whatever with Matt. But I think Matt, he's got some big fish to fry on NFL Sundays.
Well, if you had gotten my sign out there tonight, I don't think Stephanie brought the Mosley sign. I would have been there, but the sign did not make the trip. But have fun and have a great draft, and I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, Mosley, anytime, brother, anytime. Holler at me when you need me, dude. It's great to talk to you. Great to catch up.
All right, good catching up. I'll see you soon.
All right, see you, bud. All right, so there's Matt Mosley. Make sure you check him out. He's live on the air tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central Time. He'll be breaking down the draft. He'll probably be talking to Scott Drew about drafting or about where Cam Carr and Tunde Yesufu went. We're going to take a break because I'm going to go to the bathroom. The Pete Sousa Show, we are live at Argyle Open. Let me tell you what I'm seeing right here. We got a great crowd. We got wall-to-wall big screen television sets. It looks like we got somebody from the DFW News. I guess there might be a storm coming in here. But we're in North Lake. No storm inside. sunshine, bright, and big-time lights, because we're going to New York for the NBA draft after this. We will react and follow the draft with you the entire time tonight, or at least for the entire time, at least from 7 to 8 Central Time. But if you get an opportunity, if it's tonight, if it's tomorrow, if it's the next day, you got to come to Argyle Open. Okay, they've got 4 golf simulators. It couldn't be any better as far as a place to take the kids, as far as a place for you and your partner, significant other, friends, girls, guys, to come out here, have a good time, have some cocktails, let the kids run around, play some games, watch some sports, and enjoy some of this amazing food. I'm going to have a cheese curd before I go to the bathroom. Maybe I shouldn't combine those two things or tell you about it, but it's just what we're doing here. We're being transparent. It's draft night. How transparent have the Washington Wizards been about their number 1 pick? Well, according to Chris Miller, who joined us yesterday on the Pete Sousa Show, they haven't been transparent at all. They've kept a tight lid on things in Washington, which is why there's so much anticipation around this draft. We'll come back. We'll cover the draft with you. We'll react. The Pete Sousa Show, live from the Argyle Open tonight in the DFW in Northlake. If you're around, come join us. If not, you better be here this weekend. We'll be right back.
The Argyle Open is Northlake's premier indoor golf and sports lounge, offering full swing simulators, a scratch kitchen serving up over-the-top dishes, a craft bar, and wall-to-wall TVs designed for friends, family, and teams. Located at 1242 FM 407 West, Suite 400 in Northlake, between Grapevine and Denton. Stop by and take a swing or watch your favorite team on one of the big TVs. The Argyle Open, where great food, drinks, and competition meet.
Hey, it's Zach Gelb from The Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports. We're live weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern. That's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. You got to check us out for compelling sports talk and some of the best industry guests. What are you waiting for? YouTube.com/@365SportsYT.
Bumblebee Blinds of Waco and Temple is your one-stop shop for custom window treatment, transforming your vision into reality. Choose from a selection of shades, blinds, shutters, and curtains. Bumblebee Blinds stands behind our service and products, ensuring peace of mind with our trusted warranty. Call Bumblebee Blinds today to schedule your design consultation. Bumblebee Blinds, simplifying window treatments one covering at a time. BumblebeeBlinds.com.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are live, NBA Draft Show from Argyle Open here in North Lake in the DFW. And how much fun are we having already? Thanks to Matt Mosley for joining us. We are now awaiting just about, I'd say 10, 15 minutes away from the number one pick in this year's NBA Draft. Interesting to just take a quick look. I was going through some of the past NBA drafts. I think this will blow your mind, okay? I want to go over some of the number one picks just in the last like 5-10 years. And it gives you an idea that, you know, the number one pick, especially in a year like this, is a franchise-changing type player. Whether you take A.J. DeBonsa, you could consider Darren Peterson this. I don't, but some people would, considering him franchise-changing player, and also Cam Boozer. You can even go down to Caleb Wilson. People feel strongly about that. But let's take a look and really see when we look down or we go back and look back at these number one draft picks, have they changed their franchise? Okay, last year, Dallas, Cooper Flagg. Yes, no question about it. Reese Shea from Atlanta in 2024. Verdict still out, right? Victor Wembanyama, San Antonio, no question. Paolo Banchero, yeah, I guess Orlando's better, but I don't know that anybody expected him to be this tidal wave that would crash into the NBA and dominate. But he has done very well. Cade Cunningham, his squad beat Paolo Banchero. They came all the way back from down 3-1 in the first round of the playoffs before getting eliminated. But Detroit has gotten so much better thanks in part to Cade Cunningham. How about Anthony Edwards? No question about that either. Anthony Edwards is a marquee guy, potentially one of the faces of the NBA. 2019, Zion Williamson, you know, that's a shame, but not really. Too much, I don't know, food there. How about DeAndre Ayton? Bit of a disappointment. He was taken number one in 2018. And then we get to two names I don't like reading much and I don't like thinking about because it makes me sick. Markelle Fultz, my Sixers, and Ben Simmons. Those are two guys. I am so ready for the Markelle Fultz documentary about what the hell happened to him on the court, off the court, whatever. I've never seen a guy completely change the way that he plays the game after being taken number one and never be able to rediscover the skills that landed him that number one pick. And then we go down to Karl Anthony Towns. That's a great pick. Anthony Bennett. I was at the draft in Brooklyn in 2013 when Anthony Bennett was selected. That was wild. I mean, nobody saw that coming, and there's a reason why, clearly. 2012, Anthony Davis certainly was a franchise-changing player. Kyrie Irving, 2011, for sure was. John Wall, 2010, never really came to fruition, and on and on. But really, when you look at, I would say, the past, you can go all the way down to Anthony Edwards. And since 2020, the 5-6 guys who have been taken with the number one pick have all been really successful in the NBA. You'd like to see a little more from Paolo, taken in 2022. And Reese Shea, I'd be lying if I told you I was like all over his game, right? Let me take a look actually real quick. I think that's a kind of fun little experiment here to see exactly how well Reese Shea did last year. And I don't want to do it without some numbers because that's what I'm going to need in order to do this. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. By the way, awesome help here at Argyle Open. That was Bree. She's dynamite. Just dropped off a club soda for America's favorite sober guy. So let's see here. Not that I would be drinking at work anyways. Well, if I was drinking, I'd eventually end up drinking at work. That's kind of the alcoholic for you. So Reese Shea this year, No, did not play great. Did not play great at all. Regular season, let's see. Played 67 games, averaged 9.6 points a game, and averaged 3.5 or 3.8 rebounds. I mean, he's been not who they expected him to be or who they had hoped he would be. So outside of Ricochet, really, if you look at the last 6 drafts, 5 of those guys are absolute stars. So tonight, what are we going to see? Are we going to see another star taken? We are 3 minutes away. They're going through the guys on television. They're showing everybody in the green room right now. Okay, let's see who's on the old dais at ESPN. You got Tim Legler, who has been a meteoric rise for Legs. I mean, he's always been on the scene. And at points, he was maybe a little higher up on, let's say, the ESPN big board than others. But now he is at the tippy top. And he is out there with Jay Billis, Belika Andrews, and Andrea Carter. And I got no issues with any of those folks. Andrea Carter, I told her to her face at our ESPN basketball summit, she's maybe one of my favorite analysts in the game. And the reason why is because when somebody is able to dispense information with such ease and seems so comfortable in their own skin, but isn't too much either way, right? She doesn't hit you over the head with it. She's really relaxed. I don't know. I'm just a huge fan of hers. So now ESPN has taken their last break before we go to the number 1 pick in the draft. I'll tell you I got a great draft story. I tell it once a year, and this is my draft experience. Now, you guys know, if you're watching this for the first time, maybe you don't, but I've been sober for almost 15 years. But before those 15 years, there was a time when I was anything but sober, right? And so part of those years, or all of those years, I was working in the NBA in public relations, or at least the better half of the, let's say, the last 6 or 7. And the powers that be, I mean, this was one of the many problems for the Charlotte, now Hornets Bobcats at the time. So they send me to the draft, right? And as a PR person, when your team sends you to the draft, we had a lottery pick. I think our pick was 7th, 6th, or 7th. And that year, the Bobcats took Brandon. I got to look it up. I think it was the year that KD and Greg Oden got taken. Let's see. So it was. Now I'm looking. Oh, this is the year before. My bad. It's 2007. So I think it was Brandon Marshall. I want to say Brandon Marshall, but I know that's wrong. So let's see here. Brandon Wright. So Brandon Wright out of North Carolina. So they sent me to the draft, and the night before, I go out with my buddy Bart, and I get into some unmentionables, but you know, products that you are street products, and I'm up all night, right? And maybe I get a few hours of sleep, and then I go over to the I think it was the Felt Forum at Madison Square Garden where they were having the draft at the time. So I get over there. My job is to get whoever the Bobcats select with that pick. I'm going to be the first person from the organization he officially meets as a Charlotte Bobcat. And so they pick Brendan Wright. I meet him after he gets introduced. And then as I'm taking him through the media circuit, I get a phone call. And my boss calls me. He's like, hey, you're going to take him through this draft car wash, because after a guy gets drafted, he'll go to ESPN Radio, he goes to ESPN TV. You know, you'll take him into the annals of the arena, and there's more. There's NBA TV. There's just so many media conglomerates that are there to talk to these guys, and it's really cool. And they're so happy they just got drafted. But the call to me was, hey, you're going to take him through that draft circuit. By the time he's done, he's not going to be a Charlotte Bobcat anymore. We're going to trade him. But you can't tell him. Now, I am not at the top of my game, okay, after a very long night in New York City. And so I've got to now escort Brendan Wright around, right? And this is before cell phones were like crazy. This is 2007, so it's 19 years ago. And, you know, we all had phones, but it just wasn't update after update after update, text after text after text. So he didn't know, but he could tell something was going on. After I take him through the entire circuit, okay, he still doesn't know. And there was a trade, I think, that sent him to the Hawks. I honestly forget. And I'm trying to see who we got. I don't even know who the Bobcats ended up getting. Anyways, we end up in the green room, right, which is a room that I have no business being in, just because I was such a pathetic human being behavior-wise at the time. I was just overcome with alcohol and drug addiction. But anyways, I'm in this green room with Brendan Wright, and Mark Broussard from the NBA is like, hey, you going to tell this guy he got traded? And I'm like, I don't know. In Charlotte, they're still telling me don't tell him. And there's David Falk, okay, Michael Jordan's agent. David Falk really is at the Mount Rushmore of sports representation. And David Falk, who was obviously close with Michael Jordan still at the time, I'm sure he still is, David Falk looks at me and looks at Brendan Wright, because I had actually worked for a company called SFX Sports, where David Falk was like the grand poobah of the sports arm. And I worked for an agent at SFX. And so I knew David Falk at least enough to reintroduce myself to him, say, hey, I worked with you or for you at SFX Sports. He's like, oh, okay, it was really nice. I mean, I'm in the NBA green room. Clearly, I have a reason to be there. But he looks at me and says out loud as he points to Brendan Wright, he's like, you're not keeping him, right? Like the Bobcats weren't going to keep him. So finally, Brendan Wright's like, yo, dude, am I getting traded? And I have to, Mark Broussard, actually, who I think is still working with the NBA, was such an amazing guy then. I'm sure he is now. He was like, dude, you got to tell this guy. So I don't know, honestly, I think I blacked out. I don't know if Mark told him or I told him. Actually, it was definitely Mark, because I would have remembered if I told him. So I'm trying to be chicken crap again. And eventually we told him and everything got squared away. And Brendan Wright went on to play for the Chicago Bulls. Okay. No, let me see this. So Brendan Wright got taken by the Bobcats and was traded to Golden State. Huh. Okay. And what was that trade? I know I'm boring you guys. Adam Silver is opening up the draft right now. Zach, can we test out some volume on that? Do you want to try to get
one of the best we have seen, maybe going back to that 2003 draft class, loaded with so much legendary talent. It's just one.
So who was that, Zach? That was Alan Hahn, sounded like on ESPN Radio?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, you can chime in and say you believe so all the time. So the problem is with the Sirius XM radio that we're using, we can't see these guys. You can't see them go up to the podium, right? So there's Adam Silver, AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson. There's a lot of tension in the house right now. I really can't imagine how exciting it is because, and if you're just joining us, it's really worth noting and bringing back up once again that the Washington Wizards, who own this number one pick, have held it so close to the vest that really nobody knows. We had their TV guy, Chris Miller, on the Pete Sousa show yesterday, and Chris was like, look, we really do not know who they intend on taking. Now, the Wizards did do a terrific job after the NBA draft lottery of saying, hey, we are open for business, right? And so they've been fielding offers for the past, since the NBA draft lottery. And they are officially on the clock right now. For the Wizards, as far as their draft history is concerned, they are set to make the first pick in the NBA draft. The last time they did it was in 2010 with John Wall. I'd say that went really well. In 2001, they took Kwame Brown. That did not go well at all. So this is the third time, this is the third time they are making the number one pick. They entered the draft lottery with a 14% chance of getting the number one pick, and they had the best odds, and it worked out for them. A college freshman was the number one overall pick in the NBA draft for 13 straight years from 2010 through 2022. The streak was broken in 2023 when Victor Wembanyama was taken with the number one pick.
And welcome to the 2026 NBA Draft. Last week, just a few miles from here, more than 2 million people filled the streets of Lower Manhattan to celebrate the Knicks' first championship in 53 years.
So there you hear. Hey, we can pull that down, Zach. And to be honest with you, we may want to see if we can find a different feed because that's so behind. I know you hate that, right? But it's happening now. I mean, we are down to 3.5 minutes. Cameron Boozer is at a table right now, seated next to Carlos Boozer. You have to believe that there is a possibility here that if you were to see the commissioner come up to the podium a little early, right? Does that mean we could have a trade? Maybe we do. But there's the zoom in right now, as far as ESPN is concerned, right on AJ DeBonsa. So right now, if you're the Utah Jazz, right, this is an opportunity for you to sit back and say, now, Washington holds all the cards, but once they pull the trigger at number one, you would imagine that the Utah Jazz, as I have been lucky enough to be, on the perimeter and in some of these NBA draft rooms, really, as a PR guy, there's plan upon plan upon plan as to what you'll do if X, Y, and Z happens, particularly early in the draft. So that the Utah Jazz has a plan, whether, or should I say, regardless of who gets taken number one. I think as you see DeBonsa right now on the screen, if you're watching the draft and listening to me, there's a lot of hype around AJ DeBonsa. Let me tell you, having called BYU games over the past several years, I called one this year in Provo. One of the more interesting components to this whole situation with AJ DeBonsa is the fact that his family loves Utah, the fact that his dad loved Utah, the fact that his dad was tight with Danny Ainge, right? But don't let any of that fool you into thinking that amazing attitude that saw AJ DeBonsa, right, a young black kid from Brockton, Massachusetts, right, go to Provo, Utah, right, and before that was at Utah Prep, and made the state of Utah, in particular Salt Lake City and Provo, his home. Don't think for a second he wouldn't be able to do that in spades with the Washington Wizards in Washington, D.C. Now, one of the biggest concerns, I think, a lot of times for these teams, there's Cam Boozer and his wife, or Carlos Boozer and his wife, and Cam Boozer. It's a good-looking trio right there. I'll just leave it at that.
I have a feed, Pete, but it is going to be like a minute or so behind. I don't have anything that's currently live, but I have video right now if you want to try to do that. You do have video right now. So who are you looking at right now on the screen? It's Tim Legler. Oh, yeah, you are a little behind. Yeah. Nothing wrong with looking at legs. So I can tell you that, look, we got, by the way, those big whacks. People are going to town right now. If are you looking at Legler right now? Then you might be ahead of me, bro. You could be. Tells me on my countdown that I have like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay, it just says the pick is in on mine. So yeah, I'm about 2 minutes behind you at least or so. But I can throw to it when it goes. You would just have to like not tip it. Yeah, no. So here we go. The commissioner is getting ready. And he is heading to the podium, I would believe. And this is gripping stuff. What I was saying about Utah or about Washington, D.C., and one of the big fears, I think, around taking a guy like Darren Peterson to a situation like Washington is that whoever is taken by the Wizards will now legitimately become the face of the franchise. And the city of Washington, D.C., and Wizards fans all over Northern Virginia and the DMV. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. When you're leaving a situation, having called a Kansas game, seeing the way that Darren Peterson was able to defer to teammates like Melvin Council. Melvin Council was a transfer from St. Bonaventure. Darren Peterson was supposed to be the best player in the country, but it was clear on that team who the alpha was, right? With BYU, even though you had leaders like Richie Saunders and Rob Wright, it was very clear that AJ DeBonsa was the alpha. Will that alpha go play in Washington, D.C.? Adam Silver is on the stage with the first pick in the NBA draft. The Washington Wizards select AJ DeBonsa. And there you go. The kid from BYU goes number one. A big hug and kiss to mom. His mother's a wonderful woman.
haven't had a chance to say what's up there in Provo. And then you meet A.J. DiBonsa and you see how he was raised and you see the type of young man he is. And it's no surprise that his dad was a police officer in at Boston University for 20 years and then worked in other areas surrounding Boston as a policeman and as somebody who was working to enforce laws and keep people in line. There is a lot to like about A.J. DiBonsa as a man. And, I just saw him hug and kiss his mom. That's a great love story. His father was working out at a gym in Brockton, Massachusetts. They're showing his dad right now on television. By the way, with his glasses off, he's got a little seal in him. We're talking about Ace DiBonsa. Got a little seal there, okay? The singer. And but anyways, Ace DiBonsa is driving around and he sees this very attractive woman, according to him, leaving the gym and heading to her car. And he, I guess, drives up alongside her, little old school, right? Hey, where's your car? Can you find it? Something to that nature. They get to know each other, and the rest is history, right? I mean, two people from, Ace grew up in Africa and Spain, mom from Jamaica, and here we are. We've got a 3-level scorer going to Washington, D.C. If I was a Wizards fan, I would be out of control excited right now. I think there is a fit for him right there in Washington, and I think you do not – what do they say? Do not stop and collect $200, right? You are now a member of the Washington Wizards, and Wizards fans should be very excited about that. So now we've got the Jazz on the clock, and – I don't see the clock actually ticking on ESPN right now. They still say the pick is in. Okay, now it's 2:50 on the clock. So in 2 minutes and 50 seconds, I think we will have the most interesting answer to one of the biggest questions that I have right now coming into this NBA draft. And it is, what do NBA organizations overall as a whole think of Darren Peterson? Where does Darren Peterson fall as far as, is he a second pick? Is he a third pick? Gosh, does he fall to fourth? There is a lot to think about right now if you are the Utah Jazz. And let's take a look at the Jazz, round by round picks in the lottery era. It's always fun to kind of dig into the crate and look at when some of these guys were selected and when they were taken. Ace Bailey was taken last year. They also took Will Riley in the first round last year. Cody Williams was taken in 2024, as well as Isaiah Collier. Taylor Hendricks was taken in 2023. Azubuike was taken in 2020. Grayson Allen taken in 2018. The Jazz actually drafted Josh Hart in the second round in 2017, ultimately trading him. And I think the biggest guy in 1985, you look down the list, the Utah Jazz took Karl Malone. But a lot at stake right now and a lot on the line. Right now, A.J. DiBonsa is sitting down on the couch. I think he's next to his two sisters. One of his sisters, by the way, is a tremendous volleyball player. I think she's in high school in Provo or in the Salt Lake City area. School's out now, so everybody went back to Brockton as he trained for the draft. When we look at these number 2 picks, right, and keep saying when we look at these number 2 picks. Okay, second round success. Corey Dickman's going to hop on here.
Okay, hey, can I say something?
Yeah.
So our prediction partner, Kalshi, Pete, sponsor. So third overall pick, is it going to be Cameron Boozer or Caleb Wilson? It basically, you get 11 times your money if it's Caleb Wilson at the number 3 pick. That's be a huge upset.
No. Well, here's the way that happens.
Okay.
If Cam Boozer is taken second by the Utah Jazz, coming right up here, and now the pick is in.
Yeah.
Right. If Cam Boozer is taken with that pick, and then you could have Caleb Wilson at 3.
You wouldn't think it wouldn't be Peterson at 3?
No, I don't think, because I think Peterson may have put out smoke signals and signs. Hey, I don't want to play in Utah. I don't think if I'm the Jazz, I'd take Darren Peterson right now.
I would take Darren Peterson if I were the Jazz. I don't even see Peterson on the board here for Kalshi. I don't. It's not up here yet. Am I behind?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, anyway, I would take Peterson too. I think that fits the Jazz.
I think so. And he's got a huge smile on his face as the pick is in.
Oh, is it?
And then they're showing Cam Boozer as well right now. I think if you're Utah, you can afford to take a Darren Peterson. As much tanking as the Jazz did last year, there's a pretty good core there. And I think that Darren Peterson could join that core. Guys like Ace Bailey, guys like Keontae George, and could star there where he doesn't have to shoulder all the load.
Markkanen and Jackson, Jaren Jackson, they have a good team next year.
They got Jaren Jackson towards the end of last season. Jaren Jackson's great.
He'll be a really good player on that team. Okay, this is an interesting one. Or no, okay, hold on.
By the way, Kalshi.com, promo code Sousa. Kalshi.com, promo code
Sousa.
Sousa. Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's Adam Silver striding to the podium. Here's the pick.
Who was I can't see.
Darren Peterson.
It was Darren Peterson.
So Darren Peterson goes to Utah.
It's Stephanie with the golf clap here. Wow.
That is huge.
Big.
It's big, and it checks out as far as him going to a place. Again, we were talking to Paul Biancardi this morning. And actually, it was 2 days ago when we talked to Chris Miller, who is the play-by-play guy for the Washington Wizards. And the one, I don't know if it was a caution, but a concern that he mentioned. Wow, look at DP's family, Darren Peterson's family. They are everybody's crying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, pretty special.
Yeah.
His dad played hoops at Akron. And so his dad's a hooper as well.
Okay.
But Paul Biancardi or Chris Miller, I'm sorry, was talking about, hey, whoever comes to Washington, you have got to be the face of this organization.
Yeah.
You've got to be the one that goes out to all the events. You've got to be the one that is talking to the media most of the time. That's really not been Darren Peterson's MO so far from what we've seen in the public eye. But in Utah, it's much different. He gets to share the load with a bunch of other young stars. I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, and Ainge, he's the GM there, the president of operations. Like he's going to do his homework. On a player like
his
Peterson.
son Austin works under him.
Oh, his son Austin. You're right.
Yeah.
That's who it is. It's Austin. But do you think because doesn't Carlos Boozer work for the Jazz or something?
He does work for the Jazz. So
you think that's awkward? Is that weird or no?
Not really. Because if anything else, I think it shows that Carlos is more of a hey, I gave my analysis and I backed away.
And you backed away.
Yeah, like he's sitting there with his son right now tonight. He's not in the draft room.
Yeah.
Banging his fist on a table saying, "Take my son."
Well, so my assessment.
Give me back my son.
Cameron Boozer has a 99% chance of going to the Grizzlies. I still would put money on that because that's gonna happen. Like if you put $100 on it, I think you make $1. But go for it.
To win how much?
To literally, if you put $100, I think you win $1. So, but hey, that's more than you had before.
It is more than you had.
I think
before.
he fits Memphis. That's the grit and grind, all that stuff. I think Cameron Boozer will be a good Memphis Grizzly.
I agree. I think he will be, and they need stability there. And, the future of Ja Morant is beyond up in the air. We're not quite sure what is next for him, but it doesn't seem like whatever it is going to take place in Memphis. And that's a shame because, man, just a couple years ago, it was so exciting what was happening in Memphis with Ja, but it's just not – it didn't end well.
Yeah.
And it's ending right now, and tonight could be kind of the emphatic end of that and a turning of the page for this Grizzlies organization, picking third in the draft and their opportunity to get someone like Cam Boozer, who I believe he will be a double-double every night.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a more polished version of like an Emeka Okafor.
Oh, yeah.
To jump in the time machine
Sure.
a little bit. I think Emeka didn't have the dog in him that a Cam Boozer has.
Yeah.
And today Paul Biancardi told us he's a quiet killer. Let me ask you a question, Corey.
Yeah.
You're a hat guy.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you got drafted, but you always wear your hats backwards.
I do usually. Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I probably still wear it backwards. I think I'm not repping the team. I would flip it around for the picture. But it's like, you want to be authentic self, right? And so go up on there, wear your hat, and then flip it around for the team pick, Now, if it was my Portland Trailblazers that drafted me, I might keep it front and center because I respect the team. But, I'd flip it sideways or backwards, not sideways. That'd be a little crazy.
So now we got Memphis on the clock. And just to get a little bit into, Cameron Boozer, and who they're looking at. This is a guy who was a consensus National College Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year. So he was the guy. You know, when you talk about DeBonce, he led the country in scoring, but to most people, Cam Boozer was the best player. And he became the first freshman or sophomore to average at least 20 points and 10 rebounds and 4 assists in a single season since, do you know this?
Cooper Flag.
Larry Bird.
Oh, Larry Bird. Oh, geez.
I'm going to read that one more time.
Okay.
2010 and 4. Cam Boozer was the first freshman or sophomore to average at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists since Larry Bird.
Wow, that's crazy.
And he did it, you know, under the duress of playing in the playing in the ACC against some of the best competition you'll see.
So let me ask you this. Does he get anything faulted against him for how they collapsed in the tournament, giving up that lead?
No.
They don't look at him and say, wow, a winner would have closed out that game against
no, because
I forget who it was.
Against UConn.
Yeah. You know, or does that not matter?
No, unfortunately, it was his brother that made the bad pass.
Yeah.
So he really didn't have too much connective tissue to that. And then I think you can look at the year before where Cooper Flag missed a jump shot that would have won Duke the game against Houston, in the Final Four, in the semifinals. And, you know, all that kid did was get taken number one and show us that he was beyond the right decision.
Well, he's just like, he's another specimen. He's so athletic. And Cameron Boozer kind of, where I'm getting at is like, I feel like the trait is the intellect. He's supposed to like be ready to win right now.
Yeah.
But if he couldn't command his Duke team and not blow that game, isn't that one of his traits? Like, I don't know.
It's not a positive,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's not. But it's also, too, we talked about at the top of the show, Cam Carr. And, like, these guys get so good, especially when they're 18, 19, and if they're living the right way and trying to get better, they just get better and better and better,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
on and off the floor. Let's see what Adam Silver says. Memphis has made their selection with the third pick in the 2026 NBA draft. Yep, there he is.
Woo!
Cam Boozer.
All right, I made $1, Pete.
Did you take that bet?
I put $100 down. Made 100.
Did you really?
I made $1.
Lauren, you watching this? Oh, boy.
I'm got to pay the mortgage.
You may have to come get him. Get him.
She's on the way.
Yeah.
She's on the way. Okay, so now this is another slam dunk one. That Caleb Wilson is like a 97%er on Kalshi right now to be the fourth pick in the draft. I mean, that there's no way they go a different direction here, right? The Bulls,
no, I don't
Keaton
think
Wagler, Darius Acuff. There's no way.
And the Bulls have, you know, they have the fourth pick, and I think they pick 15th as well. So,
okay.
Yeah. So a lot of opportunity for Chicago to get better here in this first round, and they need to get better. They just hired Tiago Splitter, who you had last year.
Tiago.
In Portland.
Yeah.
Did you like Splitter as a coach or what?
I think he came in, you know, I covered a majority of the games. I would say it was a tough situation with Chauncey and all this stuff. So I think Tiago came in, did a fine job. I think there was a lot of development for that team for Portland. He manned the ship, but he never like seemed like he wanted to like own the position, if that makes sense. Like I never watched Tiago and thought, oh, they got to give him a 5-year extension. Like it just never popped, you know. I don't know. I think he did fine, but
I'm surprised you didn't like him more. You could have cared less that the Bulls were able to
I know. I told you earlier. I said that they're developing, and he's a good development coach. But I think in Portland we're just ready. We're ready to take a leap, and I don't know if Tiago's the guy for that.
So apparently Caleb Wilson is going to be the guy at 4 for the Bulls.
Okay.
And well, that's what almost everybody is saying.
Yeah.
And then after that, you've got the Clippers drafting. Following the Clippers, you have the Brooklyn Nets. And that's where it starts to get really interesting. And then Sacramento with Darius Acuff Jr. Now, if you're the Brooklyn Nets and you want to take Michael Brown, why can't you take Darius Acuff? Like you certainly could.
Well, you totally could. And do you let last year's draft, like the Nets drafted 19 point guards last year. So do you let that affect your draft pick in this one, or do you just play it year by year?
Honestly, I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should. And I think if you don't, you run the risk of becoming, a boneheaded general manager who makes the same mistake over and over again. You think of Matt Millen with the Detroit Lions. He drafted a wide receiver like 6 years in a row.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, geez. Rogers wasn't there, and then I remember all those. Well, I mean, I think after 5, like starting at 5, it feels like that's where these trades might start happening because, in my opinion, Pete, I mean, you could go 5 through 15, and it may kind of all be not equal, but like if one of them popped off over another guy, I don't think there'd be surprise there.
So some of the candidates for this next pick, obviously Caleb Wilson is a heavy favorite. Darius Acuff is on the board, possibly at being the 4th pick. I mentioned Michael Brown from Louisville and Keaton Wagler. That's another guy to keep an eye on. He's a sensational player. Out of Illinois, and his star has risen, obviously. Is in the mix now to be a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah, he's on Kalshi. It's changing a lot right now with the odds, but Keaton Wagler's 76% chance he gets picked with the 5th pick. So it looks like Keaton Wagler for sure, at least on Kalshi's algorithm, says that he's going to be the 5th pick. So if you want to make some money, you could bet Darius Acuff or trade Darius Acuff. Sorry, I can't say bet with Kalshi. It's trade.
It's so hard to keep up with that. We love our partner, Kalshi.
We do.
And we talk about every day. And honestly, I got $214 in my account.
Do you? I'm like at like 4 or something right now.
And you started with the $20.
$20.
Me
and just
too.
grinding up, man. I've kind of lost some on this World Cup stuff because I don't know a ton about it, but
I don't know anything about it.
You know what I was doing? I watched a guy do this, Pete. He just bets. He trades ties, just ties, and eventually he's been making money. I've been following him, and that's what I just do ties.
Where is our deal at with Kalshi? Are we happy with them? Are they happy with us?
I think we're happy. They're happy, but Pete, in full disclosure, I mean, we're looking at some other partners right now for the football season. So. Kalshi, we love you, and maybe you come with a strong offer. Is
that exclusive?
Right now, it's exclusive, but it's it's a month-to-month deal, and we're a popular property. We're popular, so we might be switching gears come August, but we wait and see.
Where's my Caleb Wilson write-up? Hold on.
I'm gonna find your Caleb Wilson one.
Because he's about to get taken.
Yeah. And so what the big thing with him was he got injured, right?
And you could say if you were being a real prick that he got his coach fired.
Oh,
because once he went down with injury, that really hurt North Carolina.
Was that Hubert Davis? Yeah, was that? Yeah, well. I think they probably would have made some noise in the tournament if they had their best player, but
no, I agree. So let's talk about that best player a little bit while it seems like it's imminent that he will be taken. He set a freshman record for the most consecutive games scoring in double figures to begin the season with 24. And the pick is in, as ESPN showing us a look at the war room for the Bulls. All-American second team. And this was second. It was I mentioned the second freshman to lead North Carolina in scoring with 20 points. Tyler Hansborough was the last one to do that. Finished 3rd in the ACC in double doubles, but only playing 24 games is pretty impressive. Silver is up there, and there you go.
There it is.
Caleb Wilson is your 4th pick in the draft. So really, right now, you could say the draft has been chalk.
Yeah.
If you want to get deep into the weeds and talk about how interesting things were supposed to be. So far, hey, we're pretty much keeping the plan. A couple things about Caleb Wilson that I know you did not know.
Okay.
Enjoys country music, Lego building, and reading Stoic philosophy. I mean, what is Stoic philosophy? Is that like Nietzsche or something like that?
Is that where you don't talk? You're really stoic, but you think about things or something?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that in my life.
You were over at my house today. Christy was stoic, man.
Christy was stoic for sure.
Man.
Christy was a woman on a mission, man. She was ready.
She doesn't mess around.
No, she was ready to go.
And by the way, he was AAU teammates with Cameron Boozer. A lot of people have talked about that.
Oh, wow. Do you think that team loses a game? I mean, that seems like that would be kind of unfair. But
if somebody misses the bus or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So, I mean, I've heard people say they think Caleb Wilson, if he ended up being the top player in the draft, that wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
Right? He has that kind of potential.
For sure. So now I'm hopping on the couch to train with you as well.
Okay.
This next one should be pretty interesting.
Well, this next one is interesting. But Wagler is still really favored. I think Acuff, if he could sneak in here, you make some money, man. 6x your money, 7x 7.5, 8. It's going 8.5. Pete, jump on Kalshi. Darius Acup.
I am. I'm trying now.
Wow.
I can't find it though.
Oh, go to basketball or sports.
Yeah.
Pro basketball draft.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It makes me worried. It makes me think we're behind. There's something. We're lagging because there's so much money on.
We're not behind.
We're not. There's a lot of money on Keaton Wagler right now. It's a 1%er. Oh my gosh.
So really, that's that heavy?
Yeah, I might just I might put like a little money on Darius.
Can you help me find the draft?
All right, I put a little money on Darius.
And so we are at 2:25 on the clock.
Okay, there's your draft picks.
Okay, dude, you got him.
I got him at 5%.
All right,
come on, Acuff.
Dude, you know he just shot up to.
Did he?
35%.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Oh man, maybe they know something. How much time's on the clock?
I mean, is that amazing or what?
Oh my gosh, I think he could easily be the best point guard in the draft, like hands down. So we toured a facility today that they did the Arkansas game.
They did the Arkansas Baylor game, but that was 2 years ago.
Okay, it was 2 years ago. Okay, well.
It was pre-Darius Acuff.
I was trying to tie it in with Darius, but
now Wagler is a guy. I think people really like Wagler because one, he's 6'5", he's a point guard. He's a shooting guard, but he's rangy. He plays great D, and one of the things that I think people love about Wagler is he gets to the free throw line. Like when you're a guard like that and you get downhill into traffic, not only are you getting other teams to foul you, putting great players in foul trouble, but you're in a position where you can make free throws.
Yeah.
You slow the game down.
Yep.
It really says a lot about a guy like that, especially in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
To me, it says you're in attack mode.
Well, it's like in as I cover like NBA games, mainly for the Trailblazers, but obviously I'm watching other teams.
Yeah.
When a player can get to the line and knock down their foul shots, that's when you know they've made it because they control the game. They're getting respect from refs and they're hitting their foul shots. I remember CJ McCollum was a rookie. That guy could never hit a free throw. And it was like, I know you're a good shooter. You make your free throws, CJ. And then as he got better, obviously, then he became a great free throw shooter. But he already was. I just don't, it just takes time. It takes time.
By the way, it's Pete Sousa with the Grand Poobah over here. Corey Dickman. We are at the Argyle Open. We're live for our NBA draft show. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go online, like and subscribe to the show if this is your first time seeing it. Maybe you're watching us on Twitter. And if you're in the area in Northlake in the DFW, you got to come out to Argyle Open. It is an amazing place where you can bring your family, your friends. You get cocktails, have the kids play on golf simulators.
Yeah,
there's 4 of them here. A lot of exciting stuff going on.
And we got Zach producing this. Is he updating the ticker at the bottom for us?
He should be.
It's looking good. And then we had the host of Locked On Baylor say Wagler still looks up at Pete. So
who says that?
The host of Locked On Baylor.
That guy's a prick.
Do we know that guy?
Yeah, we used to.
Pete, Darius Acuff's 1% right now, so I think the pick's in. Dang it! I lost. I just put $5 on this. I think I lost it.
Darius Acuff looks like Rodney Terry.
He does. Look at that. Oh my gosh. He looks very upset too. Is this going to be a chip on the shoulder kind of thing? Like, do you think he's going to like carry this with him?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No. Is that Wagler? The pink tie?
Yeah,
Okay.
And he's a guy, by the way, a great example of he Locked On Baylor. He actually helped his own cause in the elite. Second round, not the Elite Eight. He had a huge game against Iowa, had 25 points in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those games. It was a Saturday night. It just kind of felt like a real coming out party for him where the whole world was watching. And you can say whatever you want. Scouts love that because it's a big stage and you deliver.
Yeah, for sure.
He certainly helped his cause there.
Yeah.
Here it is, my main man, Adam Silver.
I'm like reading his lips. Oh, yeah, I saw Wagler. Yeah. Dang it. All right, I got to jump back in Kalshi. Now, Pete, this is where you play catch-up. This is never good.
No.
Not where you want to be. So for the 6th pick, Kalshi has Mikael Brown as the favorite.
Really?
Yeah, so not even Acuff. Do I just keep chasing A Cup? I think that's what's going to happen here.
You need to be careful now.
All right. Okay. Kalshi does not recommend doing that, by the way.
Oh, really? They don't?
No.
What are they?
No, they don't. They don't want you doing that. It's all for fun. There's probably some disclaimer we have to read too, but sorry.
So let's get a little bit into Mikael Brown, right? So Mikael Brown is from Orlando, obviously played at Louisville, and he was all ACC second team. I did not get a chance to watch a lot of ACC basketball. I saw a couple times there was a Louisville game on when I was in the gym, like working out or getting ready to call a game on a Saturday. But he equaled Louisville's single-game records with 45 points and 10 three-pointers. And that was against NC State on February 9th, 2026. That was a huge game, a huge win for Louisville, where they came all the way back, and he broke a record by Wes Unseld, had the 45-point record in a single game. So that's some serious lore right there.
Yep.
Shooting the three, 34%. And here are some of the strengths. Is a poised lead guard.
Okay.
And he's got natural scoring instincts, a smooth shooter off the dribble or the catch, advanced pick and roll, has great feel as a scorer, is capable of functioning on or off the ball.
Okay.
He's 6'4". Honestly,
yeah,
I'm kind of out of pocket saying this, but I do not love – I'm not a huge fan of Mikael Brown. I'm just not.
Was there any attitude stuff or something? Was that ever come out or reported? Or I don't know why I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, geez, Corey.
I'm just trying to.
He enjoys fishing and watching Friday Night Tykes. All right,
well, there you go. Well, do you think teams that watched Jalen Brunson, being a smaller guard, lead it to an NBA championship? Do you think they look at these point guards now and think, 6'5", 6'4", we got it?
Dude, that is a great question, because there was a time when we thought, okay, you cannot have an undersized guard and win in the NBA. That has been wiped away.
Yep.
It has been completely wiped away. And I think Isaiah Thomas sort of chipped away at that. He showed us how to do it, and people still forgot.
Yeah.
But Jalen Brunson has really shown us that it's beyond possible.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think the Isaiah thing, in Isaiah obviously is incredible talent, but he had the Bash Bros behind him. He had muscle.
He did.
And I don't think Jalen, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is scaring anybody, or, OG, obviously he's a physical guy, but it's not the same as Isaiah and the bad boy.
No, but you did see, and to your point, I couldn't believe down the stretch in the finals games this year how Jalen Brunson would take over. That was the last time I had that feeling.
Yeah.
Was the last time the ratings in the NBA finals were as high as they were just this past month, when Michael Jordan played against the Utah Jazz in 1998 in the Bulls' last championship with MJ.
Yeah.
It really felt like, okay, Jalen Brunson has the ball. It's crunch time. He's going to score.
Sure.
And to do that in the face of Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
And other stars in San Antonio. And when Wembanyama wasn't on the floor, he knew to go right in the paint. And I don't know that that's the type of stuff that can be teachable.
I don't think so either. Yeah, you're right. I think we got the freshest version of Luke Cornett, the Blazers did in the first round. By the time he got to the finals, Luke Cornett was chopped liver, man. That guy couldn't do it. Or maybe it's because the Knicks were better. But
by the way, though, when you as a Trailblazers fan and you're covering the team, right?
Yeah.
What did you think when the Spurs beat you guys in the first round?
Yeah.
Did you think, oh wow, this is a team that can go to the finals?
No. Yeah. I didn't think so. We had 15-point leads on them in games 3 and 4. We should have been up 3-1 in that series. We choked it away, and obviously we weren't good enough to win those games. But the Spurs I never thought we were out of it. Even in Game 5, that was the last game of the season. We were down 30 some odd points, similar to down 29 against the Knicks being down 29, and they came all the way back. We came all the way back. We were down 35, I think, and we got it to within 7 in the fourth quarter, and we were a one-man show. I don't think I was not convinced the Spurs were ready to close out and win an NBA Finals. They're not there yet.
Well, they're not there yet mentally. They let too many games, too many leads slip away. All right, here's a Michael Brown quote. He gave this to The Athletic not too long ago. I've always had that quick twitch, that knack for touching the paint. If you're a guard that touches the paint, a lot of times in a game, you're going to create so many advantages for others. Well, I mean, that's a hell of a quote.
It is.
And the pick is in for the Brooklyn Nets.
And I think it's probably Brown because Acuff is a 1%er on Cal. I'm losing so much money on Darius Acuff. I'm walking away, Pete. I'm walking away from Acuff.
Well, I think with Acuff, a lot of the hype around him is really he's a guy who the Calipari shine it's really helped, I think.
Got it. Yeah.
Here's the pick. Adam Silver.
Michael Brown. Michael
Brown from Louisville. Oh, Nets fans are happy.
Hey, look at them. Wow. You know, the one time I went to the NBA draft in New York.
Where'd you go?
Well, it was the year the Blazers traded Zach Randolph to the Knicks because people in the crowd were so upset, and I was clapping. I was so happy.
The Knicks, when they had Zebo and Eddie Curry.
Yeah, Zebo and Eddie Curry. Wow. How did that team not win a title?
Oh, my God. How were the dude? They were so bad.
So bad.
That was the Isaiah Knicks. That's when I was working for the Sixers in PR.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
brutal.
They were so bad.
Oh, jeez. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But then that's the thing, and I'll tell you this, Corey, and, you know, just watching the NBA playoffs and even a player like Giannis going to Miami, a bigger city, which really is when Miami does well, the NBA does well, it seems. I do feel like Giannis, being as gritty and as tough as he is now playing in Miami, we saw with the Knicks, Jalen Brunson. I mean, there's no doubt that the competitive fire is it's engulfed the entire NBA.
Yeah.
And then when you look at Wembanyama, not shaking hands after the game.
Yeah.
The NBA is rediscovering its teeth. Dude.
They are.
And I think it is amazing, and I think it's great, and I think a lot of these guys that we've seen get taken so far are either killers or quiet killers.
Sure.
You know, and I think that is so important. Like, again, it's a copycat league.
Yeah.
And the way that the Knicks won a championship this year it was very much a team-oriented game.
Sure.
But when the star had to be the star, he was.
Yeah.
But everybody, and I know this sounds so dumb, but I mean, it was life or death for these guys.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been like that in the league. At least it hasn't felt like that.
I think part of it, too, is this for like the last 6, 7, 8 years, the best players are all international.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they have – it's not like LeBron and all the buddies. It's like Wemby he's not friends with these guys.
Yeah.
Right. He competed against them in the Olympics and under 20 and Chet Holmgren. So I don't think anyone wants to be his friend, and he doesn't want to be their friend. And I think that's part of it now. You know, Jokic, he's not anyone's buddy. You know, I mean, these guys just aren't.
Well, and that's a great point because there was concern when we had Channing Frye on the show. And I asked him, I said, hey, what is up with, and it was when Wembanyama and the Spurs were down 1-0 to the Jazz. And I said, how does Wemby get back on track? Or maybe it was tied at 1-1.
You mean the Thunder?
1-1.
The Thunder?
No, the Jazz.
The Jazz?
Yeah, the Spurs and the Jazz.
Okay.
Right?
In the playoffs?
No. The Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves. Okay.
And it was like Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
How does Wembanyama get ready to play like a guy who's like his hero? And it was like that was a concern for 5 minutes until he found the killer in himself and abused that entire team, including Rudy Gobert. So it kind of leads to your point. Even if these guys played with him overseas, they still know how to hit that switch.
Sure. Hey, you need to can you get Channing Frye back? Because he's doing this thing with LeBron and have you seen this on like Instagram and stuff? Dude, they're doing like a reunion, the Cavs and
the 2016 Cavs went to like Scotland or someplace where there's a huge castle.
Yeah.
And the big story was that, Kyrie didn't go with them.
Oh, yeah.
And, J.R. Smith was kind of like, which I think it wasn't necessary. But J.R. Smith is like, hey, like, here we are. We're all here. Like, don't say we didn't invite you. Or we know you're fake. Like something like that.
Oh,
it's like,
geez.
yeah.
We know you're fake.
I mean, JR does not care. He gives no F's.
Yeah.
And and it didn't seem like anybody else on the trip cared. They just went on their merry way and had an amazing time. But yeah, Channing Frye was there. Kevin Love was there.
Yeah.
Matthew Dellavedova showed up.
Jefferson, I think. Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. And it does show you too, like, when you win a championship with a group of guys, that's it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that is for the rest of your life. You are bonded with those.
You
guys.
are bonded. So, who do you think? The pick's in here. Is that what it says? Sacramento.
The pick is in for Sacramento.
Oh, let's see. I did not.
I think they got to go with Acuff.
I didn't bet Acuff on this one because he was a sure thing. So.
I think and then maybe that's why Acuff was pissed off because he's got to go to Sacktown now instead of playing in Brooklyn.
Well, and now it just means he'll get traded to a contender in a couple of years. So you just got to hang tight, Darius. Go through the farm system here at Sacramento. Pete, who do you think is the first of these draft picks so far? Who's going to win a title first? Who would you say? I mean, none of them are going to like title. I mean, maybe the Clipper. Who did Clippers take again? Keaton Wagler. That's probably the best team so far.
But which player or which team?
Yeah, which player? I mean, I guess. Yeah, no. Which player? Which player do you think will be the first one to win a title so far that's been drafted?
God damn, that's tough. And I'm trying to really give it some thought.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It's so hard for me to even picture like Washington or
it's really hard to even mentally see that as Darius Acuff does get taken. By the Sacramento.
He's mad.
King.
He's mad. He's telling him.
Yeah, he didn't seem pumped.
No, he's going to go kill it.
Acuff scored an Arkansas freshman record 49 points against Alabama on February 18th, the most ever by a Razorback in an SEC game. All right, here's the quote from Jay Billis. He is a walking bucket. He's built differently than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but like those chest down drives that those guys get, it reminded me a little bit of him. You watch him in person and you're like, my God, who's going to stop this guy? And one of the things too about Acuff that I loved this year was his efficiency from three. He was 43% shooting the three ball. A guy from Detroit, which you got to love that because it means he's got some grit. First team All-American. Look, he's 6'2", right? So that is maybe the knock on him.
Is that the knock? Yeah, that might be the knock. But again, like we just saw Jalen Brunson, shorter guy. He wins it. He wins not the MVP or anything, but I'm trying to see who.
And by the way, his dad played hoops. I love that. His father was a hoops player. His father coached him growing up. I think that when you have someone in your family like that, that's kind of minding the store, it really helps. He is a powerful guard, Darius Acuff is, and he dominated in the SEC this year. I don't think he should have fallen that far. I would have taken him ahead of Wagler, and I would have taken him ahead of Michael.
Yeah,
I would have. I think that sometimes we tend to overthink things, and I think that a couple of organizations may have done that tonight.
Yeah, I'm okay. I can't find these odds; they don't have them up yet. I would trade, not bet, Acuff Rookie of the Year on Sacramento. He's going to get a lot of playing time. I think he's going to be pissed. I could see him winning Rookie of the Year on that team.
Back to your question.
Yeah.
I think that A.J. DiBonso will win the first title. He just, to me, feels like a winner. And whether that is, look, man, things can change so fast. Whether it's in Washington or somewhere else.
Yeah.
It definitely shocked me and felt like a setback to see that the Wizards put so much money into Trey.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I don't know.
4-year contract, player option, I think too.
Yeah.
If they had, you have AD, AJ, and then the rest of their team are really solid players with Sarr and Kayshawn and Trey Johnson. Trey Young just felt like let the guy either go or sign him to a different type of contract and flip him. I don't know. That seems funky.
I'm not a Trey Young fan. I'm not. And there's something going on there with him personally. Like, I'm not saying he's an axe murderer, but he's not vibing with guys that he plays with. And I've heard that on very good authority.
Really?
Yeah, through, just talking to people through some of the games that I've called. Like, there's something super weird going on.
I didn't like it. I really liked everything else Washington was doing, but I don't know about the Trae Young signing.
No. And so now we've got coming up on the clock, and this is perfect. So our coverage of the draft will take us through the Dallas pick. Which is perfect because I am beyond curious. And Mosley made a great point. I asked Matt, I said, hey, Dusty May now over from Michigan, and I do believe the NBA is like a copycat league in a sense. And you just saw what Villanova did, sort of building around that college vibe, the attitude, the camaraderie between those three Villanova guys. So now here comes Dusty May, a college coach who just won a championship, right? Does he go with one of his Michigan guys? And there's like three of them he could take.
Yeah, sure.
And, Mosley was like, that's going to take some major cojones to walk into the draft room and say, hey, forget about all the work you guys did.
Yeah.
I was hired 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And we're going to take Yak Slenderborg.
Sure.
But it's a real possibility it can happen.
And you've been, around teams, professional teams. During those interviews with Dusty May, they're probably asking him that question.
Yeah.
And he's probably saying, I have inside knowledge to how good these guys can be.
Yeah, which is what better source?
Yeah. Totally.
So and Yak Slenderborg's another guy who over the course of his career, he got so much better. He played 11 games in high school.
Yeah.
And he's a guy too that I love. I'll say it all day long. When you've got basketball in your bloodlines, like his mom played hoops.
Okay.
Yak Slenderborg's mom did. So
yeah. A winner. I think the Mavs, they if they build smart right now, they got a team for the future.
When does Portland pick, Corey?
Pete, you asked me this earlier, and it already hurt my feelings. But we traded this pick 5 years ago for Larry Nance Jr. and it kept getting pushed because we were terrible. And Pete, if we had just missed the playoffs this season, this pick would have conveyed next year. We would have had it this year and next year. We just should have tanked one more season. Yet again, Portland just not doing things right. It's just frustrating.
So Atlanta's on the clock. Kingston Flemings, right, is a real opportunity or a real option. I love the way the guy plays. I love him. Big 12 guy, Houston guy. There's really not anything to dislike about Kingston Flemings as a player and as a guy. Now you've got Nate Ament, who's another player who can be picked. Nate Ament is 6'10", a completely different player out of Tennessee. One of the things you got to love about Nate Ament is he was a kid who was a 0-star coming out of high school.
Yeah.
And ends up, now
was he really?
He's going to be a first-round pick.
So was he a walk-on at Tennessee?
No, he transferred.
He transferred.
Yeah,
duh.
Transferred in. Yeah.
Everyone transfers. Was Kingston Flemings 2 years ago? Was he the guy that kind of lost his dribble at the end of the game when Houston lost to Florida? You remember that?
That wasn't him.
Different guy? Okay, all right.
That was, I think it was Milos Uzan.
Well, he's 99%er here, so I think Kingston's going to
my bad
Atlanta.
on the Nate Ament thing. Bad information. I'm a moron.
Oh.
No, he was not. He's just a freshman at Tennessee.
Got it. Not 0-star?
No.
Okay. Well, that would be a good story, though.
Yeah,
maybe that got aggregated by Locked on Baylor. Maybe Locked on Baylor going to tweet that.
Locked on Baylor, man.
Yeah. Where did he go? He's not posting in the chat anymore.
He's actually watching, though. He's watching the draft because he's going to have to do a show where he wears his hat and gets his mustache groomed and talks about Cam Carr.
Talking about Cam Carr going, well, I think Cam Carr will be a solid. Baylor now just puts out good role players.
Yes.
That's just what we do.
That is really, that's like the gift and the curse, because when they're playing for Baylor, it's like, hey, would you please take over the goddamn game?
Yeah.
We want you to be the guy.
Yeah.
That was the VJ thing.
Yes.
And, Jeremy Roach was the guy trying to take over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jeremy.
All right, let's see. Kingston Flemings goes to Atlanta. And look, if you're the Hawks, man, you are so happy with your pick.
Yeah.
You really have to be beyond excited because you had a great season, all things considered. I mean, you showed up in that elimination game with the Knicks, and it doesn't look as bad now, how badly they got beat.
Oh, yeah.
But, and they're showing us on ESPN that Kingston Flemings is like a Derrick Rose type player.
Yeah.
Man, that's not a bad
that's
not a bad comparison.
Atlanta would be happy with that for sure. No, they're looking solid, man. Atlanta's going to make noise this season for sure coming up.
And I love Quinn Snyder. And my buddy Madison, Madison Hawk, who used to do Inside the 12.
Oh, Inside the 12.
Yeah, she's the Hawk sideline reporter.
Oh, is she now?
Yeah, we hung out we were at the Big 12 Spring Media Day. She's awesome.
Wonder, is she doing a show anymore or anything? Or what's she do?
I don't know. You need to talk to her.
Maybe I give her a holler. We got a sponsor. We sponsor for Old Madison.
Who's our sponsor? Kalshi?
Kalshi.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm waiting for the phone call, Kalshi.
I love this, and this is Kingston Fleming's brother. He wants to win at everything. We're playing 2K. We're playing Madden. Need for speed. He's like, I've got to win. We're not stopping until I win. I love that.
Love that. Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
A Newport News, Virginia guy, that's like the Michael Vick, Allen Iverson, Ronald Curry. He's a physical downhill guard with a really high motor.
Winners.
We know that.
Does he like dogs? Does he like dogs? Michael Vick. Oh, okay. Too soon. So the number 9. So who's picking 9th here, Pete?
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Oh, yeah, Dallas. Yeah, Braden Burries is like 95% getting picked here. Yeah. Just
see, that's interesting because Braden Burries he's a physical point guard, and I think that that sort of doesn't spell the end, but that the Kyrie Irving thing, with Kyrie getting a little longer in the tooth.
Sure.
He's your point guard. That ball is still like a yo-yo to Kyrie, but the Mavs are probably feeling, hey, we can't pass this guy up.
Well, and they got to trade Kyrie, right? I mean, they can't. Like that team's timeline does not fit Kyrie Irving, right?
I don't know. I mean, look, the Mavs could be really good next year.
Yeah.
I think I really do because I love Cooper Flagg. I just love the guy. I think he's sensational.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point. They still have but they still got those guys that Derek Lively. Like they got those guys that helped them make the finals.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not going not yet, Stephanie. Stephanie's trying to get out of here.
She's giving us giving us the wrap it up, I think.
No, not yet. We got to see this last pick.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay. Yeah, she's giving us
what happens? The Argyle Open Police come get us and take us out of here? Or are you leaving?
Stephanie comes and cleans us out of here.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
Corey, what a treat. You just jumped in here.
I wanted to read you some Kalshi odds because, it's a partner of ours. And Pete, I miss our odds are segments.
Yeah, well, that is sad.
It is sad. It is really sad. But so anyway, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
By the way, at my wedding, did you make it to my brother's speech or did you leave?
I totally heard every word your brother said, and it was cringe. I was dying when he was reading quotes from the show. I was like, "Oh my word!"
Well, you had to be pretty proud as the proud owner of Road Media Network.
I was telling people around me, like, "Yeah, that's our show."
Oh, really? Were you?
Yeah. And Lauren was like shaking her head. My wife was shaking her head. But dude, your brother, just the cadence of it too. And I liked when he lost the notes on one of them. He was like looking around for
He's out of his mind. He's out of his mind. He did a tremendous job, though.
It was funny. Yeah.
Some people were definitely offended. But
Murph's speech was a little bit more normal.
Well, and that was my problem. With Dusty May, look at him. He's in attendance sitting right there. I told Murph, I told Mike, I said, look, let it rip. Murph is going to go right down the middle. Boy, he let it rip.
Let it rip. Oh,
all right, so we got a brand new coach in Dallas. It's Dusty May. He's sitting there in attendance almost as though he's a fan at the draft.
Yeah.
Which to me says that's a surprise. Is it a surprise to you that he's not in Dallas?
Yeah, you'd think he'd be in the war room, but maybe like to your point, he thought he joined this thing too late.
Yeah, maybe that could be a show of respect.
A show of respect and just let them do their thing. Yeah, there's the war room. Did you ever get to go cover a war room?
Yeah, I mean, I was in the Bobcats war room.
Oh, that would have been cool.
It was Michael and like Fred Whitfield. Like Michael had like a bottle or something.
Did he? What would Michael say? Would he like critique?
I was never in there that long.
Oh, okay.
I remember one night though. Rachel Nichols came to Charlotte for the draft under the understanding that she would talk to Michael, and he wouldn't talk to her. She lost. She slammed a clipboard down.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, she was pissed. Then Michael, he didn't care.
Michael didn't care at all.
So by the way, Mara is somebody who it says here at least where I'm looking at.
Well, so it did. I don't know what's going on with Kalshi, but there's a 1%er on each on Braden Burries and on 8A.
Here we go.
It's coin flip.
Adam Silver, and the pick is
Burries.
Morez Johnson
Morez
Jr.
Johnson.
And that is a Michigan guy.
Oh, so
I told you.
But he skipped another Michigan guy, went to another one.
But I said, look, the other day when Dusty May was announced as head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, and you're in the wake of this amazing run the Knicks made with all those Villanova guys, Michigan won a championship, and there is winning in that DNA. And hey, man, you can't argue with that.
But why not? So why Johnson over Lindenborg and Mara?
I mean, look, here's the deal. I mean, it's probably the right pick. I don't know why, for sure.
Whoa.
But and one of the things about Jax Lindenborg is he played hurt, in that championship and in the Final Four.
Wow.
But there we go.
This tells me Dusty has big pull with this team.
And you know what? Some of that pull was obviously when he's negotiating the contract.
Yeah.
There is some of that talk. So once again, Matt Mosley's wrong. I'm
Sorry,
right.
Mosley.
Yeah.
We knew Matt. Come on, Matt. Get
Matt.
your sources. Hey, when's Matt going to have Dusty on the show? I mean, is Mosley going to get the coach?
Soon.
Okay. He'll get the coach.
Here you go. I am here and lubing up the upper lip as we speak. Hey, that's a plug. If Cam Carr gets taken, when he gets taken, just check out Locked On Baylor. Maybe our boy Cam Stewart will be doing the damn thing once again.
Oh, that's great.
Cam, we love you.
Lubing it up.
And we miss you. The lubing up was a little extreme.
All
right, that's it. We're done. Argyle Open, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Bree and the staff here, Heather, who owns it.
Yep.
We really appreciate this partnership. It means a ton for us to be able to come out here and for me to be able to do this show live from Argyle Open. Just one last plug comes from the heart. You've got TVs wall to wall. You've got golf simulators everywhere. You have great food. You have amazing cocktails. And it's a place where I can't emphasize enough, it's family friendly. You can bring your kids here.
Yep.
They can have fun. They can play.
Yep.
And you can hang at the bar and grab a bite to eat with your friends and family. It is a win. It's in North Lake Commons, right?
Yep.
In the DFW area. Come check it out. You don't even have to say I sent you. But if you want to say I sent you, that's fine. Just grab Bree and say the guy who drank all the club sodas.
Yeah, and they'll hook you up with something.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but just tell them. So.
Cheese curds.
There you go.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much, guys. And always, we appreciate you watching the Pete Sousa Show. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Sports.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.